Butang diri sa Interpol mismo, a red notice is a request to law enforcement worldwide to locate and provisionally arrest a person pending extradition, surrender, or similar legal action. A red notice is not an international arrest warrant. Klaruhan lang na.
Yes, exactly. So, mauna, pending extradition. In other words, kung naaga ni warrant of arrest ang ICC, the Interpol would mandate nga kanang arrest warrant nga inyong issue, i-adto pa na sa court din eh.
Local court.
Because kung mo extradite ta og tao, og criminal, mo adto man sa ta sa court. We will have to go to the local court first, and then say the local court will determine if that warrant of arrest is accurate.
Okay.
Or valid.
Or valid na siya, or legal ba na, or regular. Now, wala na gibuhat pag-aresto nila ni PRRD.
No, I refuse to use the word arrest.
Pag-kidnap.
Pagkuha nila kang
Oh,
PRRD.
Dito na itabo ang kidnap.
Yes. Because normally what happens is if there is a red notice and there is a warrant of arrest by the ICC, unta, the process should have been i-add to diri sa atong regular court, sa atong RTC, Regional Trial Courts, and the Regional Trial Courts will determine if the warrant is valid. And then, only after it has rendered a decision that the warrant is valid, na musulti sila, okay, you can arrest him now, you can bring him there. If there is an extradition treaty, but there is no extradition
Wala.
treaty.
Case in point lang, ani, hanga na yung extradition treaty. The Philippines and East Timor.
Okay.
Natay extradition treaty nila. Mauna atong ko anon si
Congressman
Teves. But the extradition treaty nga ato ang warrant of arrest gihir pa sa court sa East Timor karon. Until now wala pa nakuha nato si Congressman Teves.
Correct.
Kay that is supposed to be the legal process which they did not follow. That's why extrajudicial rendition was done against PRRD.
Yes.
Pangutan na, what if naabot ta sa korte? Naabot ta sa korte kay nanglan og kuan, extradition.
Yes.
Okay. So, tan-aw ninyo, mo hold ba sa ang ilahang kuan, ang kaso nila?
Para nako, kung maabot sa atong court, like ang naay jurisdiction atong time when he was detained there, was the Manila RTC, the Court of Appeals, and the Supreme Court. Kung i-present tong warrant of arrest, balibaran gyud sila sa korte, Mayor. Why? Because moingon man gyud ang courts, we are still functioning. Why are we going to surrender the president to another international body? Ayaw sa, hear it here. If we feel that it is not we are not di gud kaya sa atong judicial system, kay maybe ang huwis gipatay ba while hearing his case, mga ana, kung di gud kaya, then that's the time that we will submit. That's the time that Section 17 will be applied. Kung di na gud kaya sa
So
Pilipinas.
that's why they were really on a hurry
Yes.
to
Exactly.
board the
Board the
president on the plane. and
Before
send him
the
to Netherlands.
before the Supreme Court could have issued a TRO. Karon, in an extradition case, the party requesting extradition will have to present their evidence here in our local courts, but it's in Manila, RTC Manila. They will have to present evidence in our local courts, and it could take years. In the meantime, President Duterte could have asked for bail. So, while the hearing is going on, because they will have to prove, the foreign state asking for extradition will have to prove that indeed the laws there and the laws here are the same. And so because the laws there and the laws here are the same, then we can extradite him there because similar ang atong laws. Now, also, according to Attorney Regal, but our courts here will not give him up. Why? Because of the principle of complementarity. Unsa
Yes.
man na. ICC can only govern if our laws here are if our judiciary, our law enforcement is not functioning. Now, because of what the Philippines did, the Philippine authorities did in surrendering, in kidnapping President Duterte and giving him to the ICC, does it mean that the Philippines no longer has a functioning judicial system? I violently object to that. Why? Because I believe and uphold the sanctity of the judicial functions here in the Philippines. Are they saying that we have already descended into chaos? I do not think so, because the Supreme Court is still functioning.
And this is where the whole thing is now. Mura Maginoo gisurrender atong sovereignty by President Marcos to another country. So how is it murag, it's just like him saying that this state is not functioning anymore. So unsa naman data karon?
No, but if he's saying, if the implication there is, if he's saying that the state is not functioning, then how does that reflect on his administration?
Precisely. Wala na gid ni siya.
Dapat siya ang balikan sa ICC sa tinuod lang sa iyang ginabuhat.
Supposedly good.
Kay karon, this I do not have the data, no. But a lot of my friends are saying talamak na ang droga ngayon.
Pero klaro man siguro gid kay ning gibuhat nila karon nga it's all about politics. Politika kayo.
This is
You know,
political.
September pa ang kuan, human ang election by then. So they just want to take out from the chessboard, no, from the equation. PRRD kay he's gaining traction.
Exactly.
And that's what they're afraid of.
You know, I truly believe na kabalo bitaw kaning, di ba you're talking about a chessboard? Kana ganing mamate na ka, ma-checkmate na ka,
Yes.
ilan na lang
Correct.
Yabo
Kanang
na lang.
pinahubog
nila
na lang ba?
chessboard.
Hinubog na lang na style.
Very, like I have been saying, very Machiavellian ang ginabuhat nila karon. And with the disclosure of the ILG Secretary Remulla that the ones who orchestrated this was Secretary Anyo, Secretary Teodoro himself, and the President.
Where will that lead us, no?
Exactly. So it's like, now I understand why they have the capability to do this.
And I cannot understand why 4 people will decide that the sovereignty of the Philippines is null and void anymore.
Yes.
Pero kuya na siya ba, ito malaking issue ito. Kasi isipin mo, what is the position of Anyo right now?
And National
Security
National
Advisor?
Defense.
And
No, si Gibo ang National Defense.
National Security Advisor.
NSA. Yes.
And
NSA siya.
how about Gibo?
Defense Secretary.
Defense
Secretary.
Secretary. National
And to add,
Defense.
si John Vic Remulla who is
DILG. Unsa may labos
and all of
DILG?
these individuals participated in that.
The core.
Apparently.
Yes.
According
Diba?
to...
According to Secretary Remulla, they are the ones who participated, which really comes as a very great shock. Because then you ask the question, considering that Secretary Anyo was also in the administration of President Duterte,
As DILG, no?
DILG, and not only that, when he retired, he was immediately given a position in government. And for, I think, all throughout the time that President Duterte was in office, Secretary Anyo was also in office. So, I really cannot understand why he would do this. I'm not saying that we should have patronage politics, no, but I just cannot understand, knowing what went on during President Duterte's administration when everything really nahapsay yun ang Pilipinas as compared to now. So, I leave it up to you. I do not want to say more.
Thank you, attorneys. I think those were very good points that we've raised here, and we have more facts now. No, number one, balikan na ako tong Interpol. Interpol, yes, they exist, no, but an Interpol red notice is not an international arrest warrant to begin with. So dili pwede nga kato ang gamiton nga basihan nga mupunit og usa ka citizen dinhi sa Pilipinas. Number two, si Interpol muagi paghihapon will have to go through the local courts para ma-justify or ma-grant tong ilang request to extradite a particular citizen. Two facts, ladies and gentlemen, which the latter wala gyud na nahatag kay PRRD. And I think, Attorney Regal, your example kanang kay Congressman Teves, sakto gyud kayo na there's an ongoing extradition case, but tanawa dito Congressman Teves is still in East Timor. The case is being heard, no. So kana di na siya bakat, mao na siya ang kamatuoran, Dabawenyo. So dirita karon, Mayor and attorneys, no, I think we've klaro naman yun, wala na may kailangan ilalis dito sa legalities ba sa pag-aresto, and we really hope that the ICC will also see that matter objectively the way we see us. Nakaidungag, Mayor, or pwede ko mo? Okay. Now, dinita karon sa remedies. Naa namang yun to si PRRD, ana ba? Okay, sa laktod na pagkastorya, PRRD is now being detained dito sa ICC. Unsa ang iyang legal remedies prior to the confirmation of charges in September? What can the lawyers of PRRD do?
They can ask for his interim release. It's I think just so you can understand, no, it's similar to mga tag bail diri ba, but something similar like that. Although dili gid siya similar, but it's something like you ask for your release samtang wala pa gadagan ang kaso, and then even while the case is going on, you are out freely. Unfortunately, basin i-oppose gid na sa prosecution if we ask for an interim release because they might claim that one, there's a possibility that he will flee, or two, that he could effectively tamper with the evidence, maybe by scaring people. Maybe that's what they're going to say because that's what I think they're going to
I'm
go.
sure that I'm sure they will do that.
Yeah.
I'm sure they will do that. But the interim release or ang bail manggod sa ICC, conditional kay na siya.
Yes.
So it could be that he will only be scot-free pero only in the Netherlands.
Yes.
Pwede po nga it can also include host countries like
Yes.
Germany and UK. Pwede siya makasuri-suri ditong dapita.
Or Norway.
Or Norway ka ng mga host countries lang nga willing mo kuan niya. And pwede po siyang makauli sa Philippines. He can, depending on the ICC nga unsay interim release nga conditions niya. But then, nagyod na yung mga reportorial every month ba, kailangan siya mubalik sa ICC, etc.
Pero I understand that interim release is subject to the fact that for every hearing, dapat naa siya
Naagid siya.
dito. But because of his age and his medical condition, di ba gigrant naman tong iyang video conferencing, perhaps they will agree to that. But like I said, I
don't see na flight risk man si
I don't think
PRRD.
so. At his age,
at his age, I don't see that he will be running around and magtago-tago pa siya.
And he has always said that he is willing to face.
Exactly.
Diba?
And the fact that he went, nisakay pa ganun sa eroplano, I don't see, he willingly went there.
And I don't think he willingly went there. Kay giprotestahan man gid niya. But you see, he had no more choice.
Correct.
Exactly.
One, because of the overwhelming police force then. And second, the fact that he was alone. Duha ra gud sila ni Executive Secretary Medial Dia. I do not think they would have been able to get a guerrilla force, Dili man sila Rambo. No, so they had to really go. But he was protesting it all the way. But I do not think he is a flight risk at his age. No?
And he even said that you can kill me first. Those words coming out from PRRD, it hurts.
Correct.
Sakit.
Lagi. Attorney, tama lagi guys. Gusto na ko po nitong yung storya na during the pre-trial, he appeared via video conference. And that's why many of the netizens said nga, pwede man di ay mag-video call. Punta, may pagwa na lang to gilupad. Dali na lang ba, no? Sa kana lang nga storya ba. So, here sa international scene, attorneys, maura to ang pwede nato buhaton for now, the application for the interim release.
Well, we do not want to know what other extra legal remedies the other persons are doing. No, I cannot speculate on that. But the legal remedies as of now is that.
Correct.
But at the same time, we have already filed, like I said, petitions for. There are 2 petitions for habeas corpus. I had the honor to file one for a very handsome mayor. Karon lagi ko kakita sa iya under the light, good, no? Gwapo gid ya ikayo siya, no? Okay, that's an aside, ha? Okay. So, I had the privilege to file one for Mayor Duterte, Baste. And we are hoping that even if President Duterte is already within the jurisdiction of the ICC, there are still remedies available to us here.
Yeah.
Although, right now, let me just update you.
Go ahead, attorney.
The OSG has already filed a motion asking for its recusal. Ang recusal is for its murag inhibition ba nga, dili sila mo participate because their stand is that the ICC has no jurisdiction. That is clear, and I think it's already circulating online. Although, to be honest, I still have not received, our office still has not received a copy of that. Second, the OSG has also made another motion asking that it be withdrawn from the case as a party kay pati sila gifilean man namo, giuban man namo dito sa kaso namo. I can only speak for the case we filed. I cannot speak for the cases filed by the very able ex-presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo and the case filed by Dean Israelito Torion. So as of now, kana gyud. And just this evening, I was able to receive a compliance from, consolidated compliance from all the other respondents, including E.S. Bersamin and all the rest. So, I still have not had the chance to look at it. But naa na sila i-file na compliance.
Attorney Dina, with these two manifestations karon ni OSG, number one, the manifestation for recusal, and the other one katong to be di na include
Oo.
sa kaso, what does this mean sa inyong habeas corpus nga petition or sa kaso in general aning sa case ni PRRD?
Well, the first thing that came to mind when I saw this was, oops, it appears that the government does not have its act together. Because, one, according to Secretary Remulla, Secretaries Anyo, Teodoro, Remulla, and the President kidnapped PRRD and brought him to the ICC. And yet now the OSG, which is also under the DOJ, is saying, no, the ICC has no jurisdiction. So it really leaves the impression of a fragmented government now. That's one. Second, the fact that the OSG has asked to be recused would show that they do not want to take part here as the lawyer of the government because sila magyud ang official lawyers sa government. So karon, when I looked at the compliance na gibuhat sa other respondents, it was somebody from the DOJ who I think an undersecretary who signed as lawyer for the respondents, which is again funny because the DOJ has under it the Office of the Solicitor General. Kaya funny ba? So it's going to be the DOJ infighting among themselves based on what I see now.
Attorneys, has this happened before na ang OSG di gusto manghilabot sa kaso sa gobyerno?
Because the OSG is not the lawyer of the not just the lawyer of the government, it's the lawyer of the people.
Okay.
So ang nahitabo diri, there have been cases where the OSG has sided not with the plaintiff or the petitioner where it is supposed to side, but has actually sided with the other side.
Yes.
Okay.
It has tried to be very fair, ha. So, although I will be surprised at the nahitabo diri na they did that because this is a case of transcendent national importance and even global importance. So, I would just like to salute the courage, the moral courage
Of the OSG.
of the Solicitor General Guevara on this and his people.
Basig ikapoy na pud siya, no? Kay katupong the
Yeah.
last time siya
Oral
nagkuhan siya sa
arguments.
intahon dito sa Supreme Court. Wa enta siya katubag ni Justice Amy ba? Naglisod intahon siya dipinsa na gyud ani nga state. And I think this is the right time that he has to speak up because he as you said, he made already the appeal brief previously. So
Pero
pero pait kinod when the right hand does not know what the left hand is doing. So
They can't
mo
clap.
na ning nahitabo karon. They cannot
okay. When the right hand does not know what the left hand is doing, you know what that is? It appears the brain is not functioning, so there is a lobotomy.
Yeah,
Okay.
and ang kon lagi ana, they don't have clean hands.
Okay.
Attorney, if I may intervene, I think one very good, not very good, but one point dito sa manifestation na gisulti sa Office of the Solicitor General is that they stand firm, no? Ang ilang justification ba why they're inhibiting is that they stand firm with their belief that the government has no legal obligation to cooperate with the ICC nor recognize any process emanating from the ICC following the effectivity of the country's withdrawal from the Rome Statute. So, attorney, kami nga nganong tao magpasabot ani murag ning pwede ba siya nga murag gisulti siya nga mali gyud ang gibuhat atong pag-aresto?
Mura judin ana.
Actually.
Because I'm sorry, the beautiful Attorney Regal was mentioning about the appeal brief. Unsa man ang appeal brief basin wala mo nakasabot. The appeal brief was filed by the Philippine government through the Office of the Solicitor General, signed by Solicitor General Guevara, where they appealed the decision of the ICC pretrial chamber ba to, saying that dili dapat unta, we really did not fall under the jurisdiction of the ICC. However, this was denied. And out of 5 justices lagi, 3 voted na we are under the jurisdiction of the ICC, but 2 dissented. So, ang appeal brief dito, very clear man yun.
This
Nag-cite
appeal
sila.
brief was filed to the ICC.
ICC. And this was very clear. Nag-cite instances dito si Solicitor General Guevara na, hey, our courts are functioning. In fact, these are the cases we filed. These are the investigations pending as of now. Daghan gito. So perhaps he did not want to how do we call it, go against himself if he will file an appearance and represent the respondents in this case, because he has already filed an appeal brief saying na wala jurisdiction ng ICC.
And that might be the reason of the recusal, because
Yeah.
one of the reasons gyud nga mo inhibit ang OSG is one, conflict of interest, number two, kung ethical. For them it will be unethical for the lawyer to persist with the case. Unethical man gyud kay human naman sila file ani, and they have already made a stand. So if they still continue to pursue the case, murag wa gyud ni murag unsa naman din ning OSG. So they might just be one of those people gihapon nga ma-question yun nato ang unsa asa magid ang inyuhang unsa man loyalty, heart and brain gibutang.
Pumunta na ba kung, di ba? With all that transpired sa kaning kidnapping sa akong amahan. Unsay sala sa mga taong involved ani, and di ba si Remulla, si Anyo,
What's the possible legal ano.
na ba sila na ba sila kaso ani tanan? Silang gibuhat, silang involvement sa kuan?
Well, actually, if tinuod tong gisulti ni Remulla and ni Secretary Remulla, and I would believe so, I think against the president, this could be a betrayal of public trust.
Yes.
Because he gave up the sovereignty of the Philippines to the ICC when his stand before was wala gyoy jurisdiction ng ICC. Second, but because he has parliamentary immunity as of now, he can be impeached, but unfortunately, and this is a fact of politics, karon it's the House of Congress is being held by Marcos and his cohorts, including Speaker Romualdez. So, as of now, that would be impossible. However, with respect to the others, like si Secretary Anyo, Remulla, and Teodoro, pwede ma-filean sila og kaso for kidnapping, including General Torre. Kidnapping, serious illegal detention. Also, at the same time, maybe anti-graft.
Anti-graft. Yeah, I agree with you, Andrew.
Attorney Dana, balikan lang nako since may ambak ta sa discussion ba dito sa petition na yung gi-file
sorry, good. Okay.
makasabot lang po di ay.
Dili mag-discuss magyapon ta atong mga kuan.
Unsa ang ginasik nato sa Supreme Court, sa tong gusto mahitabo nga unod atong petition.
Sa habeas corpus
Sa
na
habeas corpus.
I can only talk about my case because I do not have the authority to talk about others, and I will not presume because they are
pending ba siya?
Oo, they might be even better than me katong nag-file og lain. I can just relate factually we are asking the court unta to issue a writ of habeas corpus para i-bring nila ang body ni President Duterte before the court. And katog yun, basically that's just what we were asking, to bring him there and at the same time dili na siya pagawason.
Okay.
However, I do not know what the Supreme Court will do now, considering that they have asked the respondents to comply. So, let us see what the court will rule on. I refuse to think that, or even assume that I can read the minds of great legal minds of the Supreme Court justices. I will not presume.
Because as of now, they have not issued the writ.
Yes.
Kaya kanig yung writ of habeas corpus, mora gid na, meaning bring the body. So, I think they're also in a quandary right now. Kung mingon ang Supreme Court nga, bring the body here, human, mag-issue lang sila writ without a power. Without, kana bang walay teeth nga writ. Kay, unsaon nila pag-bring the body when it's like, they cannot command an international court to do what they want to. Because di man po part sa Supreme Court sa ilang jurisdiction ng ICC.
Correct.
So, mo na problema ani, even if they will issue that writ of habeas corpus, can we implement that against the ICC and tell the ICC, you bring the body back to the Philippines because we want to see the body? I think the ICC will not submit to that too. So, this is a diplomatic na siya nga issue now. This is a controversy on diplomacy between two courts, the Supreme Court and the ICC.
Correct. Then, that is actually the pinaka-common na question sa atong mga kaigsuuna, no, is that once mag-grant ng atong petition for kanang sa habeas corpus nato, masunod ba na, mag-take effect ba na kana gyud ang pangutanan nila?
But you know, even if let us say the issuance of the writ of habeas corpus is moot, or as I would like to say, mute and epidemic, moot and academic, okay, still, this case, I think, is of transcendental national importance
Exactly.
because it is the very
agree.
first time that this has happened. I think even on an international level. So, really, there is actually a silver lining in what happened to President Duterte's kidnapping because now it has been brought to the forefront, one, the actions of this present administration. Second, the fact that whether or not the ICC really has jurisdiction over cases where the state is not where a state or a government or a republic is not a member already of the ICC. So that's why I think there is also kanang ugong gani kayo sa international scene.
And to add, natay functional good na
Exactly.
Nga justice system.
Justice system.
Actually, Mayor, and actually, Attorney, nahadlok yun ang other states, especially the non-member states of what's going on. That's why even now, China already issued a statement about, warning the ICC and that they're watching the ICC on what's going on because it can have very serious implications, not only to the Philippines but also to other countries who are not even members of the ICC. Nga pwede rin silang dakpon anytime sa ilang country. And then i-deliver nga to and humana.
Oo.
Because this is the first time
That it
in the
ever
history
happened.
of ICC nga nahitabo ni nga nay gibutang nga to nga dili member sa ilang sa ICC.
Ang implication mong good din is based on principles of international law, even if you're not a party to the Rome Statute, you are not a state party, you are a non-member country, this can already be used. If there is going to be a decision by the ICC, this can already be used and cited in other jurisdictions, in other countries, which is why grave yun kaayo ni. This is really of great importance, not just to the Philippines, but to the world.
Correct. The entire world is actually watching, listening, and following the developments of this particular case.
Diri makita nato ang unsa kalapad ang jurisdiction sa ICC, unsa kalapad po ilang discretion when it comes to taking jurisdiction from from future criminals in other territories ba.
As against national sovereignty. Okay.
Which is very, very important ang national sovereignty.
But I have to give it to President Duterte. No matter where he is, he is really a person who causes change. Causes change.
That silver lining, I would have to agree.
That's the silver lining there.
For legal study, and I don't want him to be the guinea pig in this one,
God forbid.
But for legal study and legal, kuan lang gid siya, for jurisprudences to enrich our legal minds, this could be a very great case. But then again, I'm just very sad that it is him who is subjected to this hulabaloo.
Okay, let me just tell you, I will make this confession online. I have been crying since Sunday. That's why I did not join the march. Kay, kasi muhilak na pud ko dito, mo breakdown ko. I have been breaking down since Sunday. Gahapon, karon na pod. Just to get it out of my system, just to clarify, my crying is not because of, my crying is because of rage against what this government has done to him, rage that the rule of law is not being followed. So, but we cannot do anything, and I refuse to give in to my rage. So I am trying to find in my heart the peace, gani. But it's difficult. And I think many Filipinos, many Dabawenyos feel the same. Kanaganing feeling ninyo, inutil mo, wa mo'y mabuhat. And to do that to a beloved person of Davao City.
And Attorney D, Davao is not alone. I have to tell you, even in our locality sa Cebu, grabe yun.
Salamat.
That rage we share with you.
Salamat. Because then, to know that we are not alone is something that is, shared grief is better shared.
Not only because of Tatay Digong, but it's really the President surrendering our sovereignty to others. It's really the President telling the world that we are a weak nation, that we cannot anymore exercise judicial functions to other people. Ingon anak ka weak atong justice system.
Kana gyud.
As a